Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Steve Larsen, and you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio. I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business, using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio. Oh, what's up? New intro. Hey, first off, just celebrating 100,000 downloads. We've actually been past it for quite a while now. I just have not had a chance to actually create the new intro. I wrote this script while I was in the airport, I think 2 days ago, and I was like, all right, let's go do this. Let's get it done. And so anyways, hopefully you like that. I wanted to be more forward and open and purposeful about what this podcast is really all about and why I do what I do. The first about 100 episodes were me just kind of documenting the journey and lessons as I sat next to the man Russell Brunson, of course, right? But then after that, though, I wanted to make a really strong point of like, look, this is what I did when I did it. This is my adjustments as I saw what the market was telling me to switch. This is the part of the business and part of the funnels I'm building here and there, but not until this point because of this and that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to like help you guys see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. We certainly had a chance to build a lot of those kinds of things for other entrepreneurs and such along the way. And finally, I was like, man, I see this pattern. It's the same pattern regardless of the industry. I'm just going to go do it. And it's been working great. Anyway, it's been a ton of fun. So here's to 100,000 downloads and moving along and me kind of documenting the journey as I keep going forward. So it's been off to a great start. We're officially in the month of March, which is crazy. That's nuts. Anyway, hey, so this last week I've been traveling like a beast, guys. About 2 weeks ago I was in Vegas. Last week I was in Dallas. And then I hope those of you guys are coming to Funnel Hacking Live. I'll get a chance to actually meet you. I got something cool. Stay tuned. I think next episode I'm going to drop something cool for you guys, for those of you who are actually coming to Funnel Hacking Live. Anyway. So I was speaking last week, and I don't know what the deal is with when events get created, but I feel like they get the speakers in by saying like, yeah, there's going to be like this many people, right? And getting people in events is like the hardest thing on planet Earth. Like to get someone to buy something on the internet, right? That's a lot easier because, I mean, you either shipping something to their house, they're not having to change anything in their different, in their plans, or it's literally an info product and you're just giving access to them, or, you know what I mean? Or some coaching. But an event, like they got to take time out of their life. They're gonna plan a flight. They're gonna plan hotel rooms. They're gonna plan how to get from the airport to the hotel. They're gonna plan. Does that make sense? What are they gonna eat? What are they gonna wear? They gotta pack a bag. They gotta make arrangements. Besides the fact you're gonna sell them the actual ticket, like it's pretty incredible to watch how people, like you can really see who the amazing individual marketers are based on the events that they're putting on, and which is Russell Brunson's is no different. It's freaking huge. It's amazing. It's bar none the best marketing event that is in there, that is out there, in my very humble but very forward and straightforward opinion and correct opinion. Anyway, so this last event I was speaking at was awesome. There's supposed to be like 2,000 people. There's only 1,000 people, which is still a lot of people, and that was a lot, which is great, a lot of fun, but I was expecting more. Anyway, a lot of fun though, and in the evening time, right, I went and I spoke and I got to go to dinner with some friends that were there, and one of the people asked me a question, and they said, Stephen, how do you really come up with all this podcast material? I mean, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what are you going to be saying? You know what I mean? This is one of the major concerns that I feel like people get when they start considering publishing regularly, right? I had the same concern. The concern was, what the heck do I say? Like, especially after, okay, I can come up with like a few different episode ideas, but after a while, like, I don't even know what to be saying anymore. Like, you know what I mean? And I totally get it. Like, I went through the exact same predicament. Whereas, like, I don't even know, what am I going to say in episode 97? Okay. Oh man, what about episode like 140? Right? What am I going to say when I'm at episode 1,000? Like, oh my gosh, right? I will tell you that I don't care at all until I'm at episode 96 is over, right? Till episode 100, and 39 is over, till 999 is over. Okay. And There are times though, like I've done, that 6-part series where I went through and deep dive with other experts in their funnels, right? There's times where there's a lot of planning involved with it, but I was like, I started kind of just talking very openly about how I do my shows. And I just wanted to drop this little tiny thing on you and help you understand how, okay? Because I feel like this is one talent and skill that has served me in many areas, and I know is one of the major reasons why I've been speaking more. I know is one of the reasons why I've been able to go out and, even do Russell's fat event. You know what I mean? It's because of podcasting. Okay. But I was talking to him and I was like, well, look, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you're learning with me. Okay. We're learning at the same time. I'm just telling you what I'm learning. Okay. How many guys are learning something new probably every day? Right? Everybody is. Are you telling anyone about it? Okay, one of the major things that I did in college, I know one of the major reasons why I started getting straight A's, okay? I do believe, right, you guys know that I am very religious, I believe in God, and I, don't live perfectly, but I try to live best I can, you know what I mean? But like, I know that for me, I did really, really, really well in school. A lot of that was divine intervention. There's not a doubt in my mind, okay? But a lot of it had to do with my own action, obviously, all of it. None of it happens without my own action. And one of the habits that I started creating for myself is that every time I came back from a class in college, okay, this is very key. Listen to this, okay? It's the same pattern for how I come up with the stuff in my podcast. Every time, most times I should say, as often as I could, one of the things I actively did was whatever I learned in class that day that was exciting, that was interesting, that was prolific, that was amazing, right? That was something I wanted to remember. I made it a point to teach it to somebody else as quickly as I could. Does that make sense? The moment I was done learning whatever, right? Whether it was stuff I was studying on my own or stuff that was in a class or something I was doing, building a funnel for another business, right? In college, that's where I developed that pattern. I developed that habit. When I learned something that is incredible, when I learned something that is like, oh my gosh, like that really helped me here and here and here, right? I teach it to somebody. As fast as I can, I find somebody. I have even taught random people. I know that sounds stupid and weird, but I literally had gone, like, I've done it before. Or like, I'll send a message to somebody, be like, hey, I know you're not thinking about this at all. I just learned something cool. I just wanted to share it because I just, frankly, it's to be selfish. Like, I want to share it with you, but I also want to make sure I remember it. And I will teach them what I just learned. And I do that over and over and over and over and over. And so what's cool about it is that it's almost like, you guys are seeing those, the 5-minute journal. I can't remember who it's by, but it's the 5-minute journal. And who is it by, actually? I can't remember. Anyway, the 5-minute journal, right? It goes through and it makes you look at your day. It makes you goes back and look and kind of debrief. I can't think of the other word for it. Assess, right? Take accountability for the things that you did in your day and the things that you learned and what was amazing, what was bad, how are you going to change it, how are you going to react. I try and treat this show like that. Does that make sense? When something amazing is going on in my life, when I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, that's crazy cool. Like, I got to share that, right? Then it becomes very, very easy for me to continually have podcast material. I don't know what 2 episodes from now is going to be, but I know it will be amazing. Because I thought it was amazing, and because I get excited about it, because I'm obsessed about funnels and marketing, it's going to be easy for me to talk about it, and it's easy for me to tell a story around it. It's going to be easy. Does that make sense? You've got to develop this habit and this talent, okay? What was super cool is I was able to use it very, very heavily when I was speaking this last weekend, okay? And I've kind of shared this with a few other people as well, so if you've heard this, I'm sorry, but like I went through and I was on stage, and I could tell very, very quickly that the stories that I was telling, okay, I wasn't allowed to pitch, but I took the first half of my webinar script and I just took out the pitch, and I pretty much did the exact same script. So I still broke and rebuilt the belief patterns, and I know it worked because a ton of people came up afterwards, okay? Actually, it's kind of funny. Like, for the first 24 hours, not many people came up. Then the second 24 hours, I feel like it all hit their brains, and they're like, wait a second, I get it. And like the next day, it was like floods of people. I've never had that happen before. It was funny. I was like, oh, cool. Anyway, so I could tell I was speaking. I wasn't pitching, but I was definitely selling. I'm always selling, right? And I'm selling through stories, very crafted stories to help break and rebuild the way they see the world and what's actually possible. And you know what I mean? You obviously could use that for very bad things, but anyway. So I was speaking though, okay? And I was and I could feel that the room, like a third to the half of the room, was not with me. And so because I've been practicing this as frequently as I have, right? I have an entire separate podcast show. We're at episode like 60 something now, right? This is at like, I'm about to cross 200, right? It's coming up on 200 episodes of doing this, right? Let alone the different events, let alone the different places I've spoken or taught, let alone the different coaching sessions. Pretty much all of Friday for me is coaching. You know what I mean? My entire Friday, every week, I just coached hundreds of people. I mean, it's the entire day. I've been doing that for a long time, like over a year now, okay? And I've had a lot of practice at it. And so when I was up there and I could feel that part of the room was not with me because their eyes went down, they got distracted by what was on the table in front of them, or there was I wasn't getting any more like ooh you know, like you would at 4th of July. You know what I mean? Like I was able to see, I was able to sense it. I don't know what it is, guys. It's a sixth sense. You will develop it if you do what I'm telling you and just start publishing. You will develop it. It will not happen for a while, but you'll develop it. And I could feel that part of the room wasn't with me. And one of the challenges that you have as an entrepreneur, you know, one of the challenges that I run into, that everyone runs into, okay, I'm no exception to the rule on this, is that when you've got a product that kicks butt, I know that the webinar that I'm selling, right, that the product that I'm selling right now, it's amazing. I know it's the best one that's out there. I know that there's nothing out there that's like it. I know that I am the only one that delivers it how I do with the most value. Like I'm confident in that, okay? But that's not what sells stuff. Right? The message is what sells it. The sales message is a different thing than the actual product. It's the reason you can start selling without actually having the product being done, right? And so I've been obsessing over the sales message. I just barely finished the product that I've been selling, which is awesome. It's like such a good feeling. Okay. Anyway, what I've been doing is I've been going and I've been selling, right? Selling like crazy. And when you have a product that's amazing, okay, follow with me. I know I'm kind of stumbling here, but just follow with me. I've got like 15 billion thoughts that just went over the place. I'm trying to follow it and grab it. When you've got all these different, when you got this amazing product, okay, I'm sure all of you guys have an amazing product. So why isn't literally everyone on the planet running out to buy it? And I know we've already talked about sales message is what sells the product. However, there comes a point when you don't need to be tweaking as much of the sales message anymore as much as you need to be tweaking who's hearing it. Does that make sense? Right? It's I know we've all heard the phrase, you know, message to market match, right? 100%, totally with that. I totally agree with that. Obviously, I think one of the dangers we will fall into though as funnel hackers is we will continue to change. After a while, you know, I'm not saying not to, but change your product, change the sales message, tweak. I'm getting it to a point now with the level of obsession that I've been at where I feel like it's not going to be so much tweaking the sales message anymore that's going to be doing that. I think I could shorten the sales message for my webinar right now. I think I could shorten it. I think it's a little long. But the actual message, I think it's spot on. Okay, I think my offer, there's a few things I could add to it to turn up the sexy just a little bit, and I think I know what they're going to be. But the next piece is really changing who is hearing it, right? And who I'm dropping it in front of. Steven, why are you on this random rabbit squirrel that's over on the side? You're talking about being on stage. Okay, here's why. I was on stage, right, and I was telling you that about half the room I could tell they were with me, they were getting it, they were like, oh my gosh. Remember, I was pitching to MLMers. I know if you're not an MLM, that's fine, you know, I'm just telling you who I was speaking with, and I was speaking with them. There's 1,000 people there, I show them the funnel stuff, and a lot of them have never seen this before, and they're like, holy crap. You know, about half of them were freaking out. They were like, good grief, that's what you just did? Okay, and I was like, yeah, what's up? and I don't know any of you guys. You all know each other though. You know. Anyway, it was really cool. And about the other half though, weren't with me. And from that, I had two options. Okay, and this decision happened in my head very quickly while I was up there. They gave me a tight 45 minutes to be up there and be speaking. Okay, very tight. I had a very tight timeline, and this was fast. That was really fast for what I did up there. I had two options though. Option number one was to just say, you know what, it's fine. If you don't resonate with what I'm saying, you're not probably a good fit for this anyway. Does that make sense? I wouldn't say that, but that would be my reasoning. Be like, you know what? That's fine. You didn't resonate. That's okay. You didn't resonate with the stories. You didn't resonate with the sales message. Even though I'm not pitching, I'm definitely selling. Okay. And you didn't resonate. That's fine. Okay. Number two, though, the second option I have, which is the one I took, which was to grab another story that I have been practicing because of all the publishing, because of the podcast, because of all the stuff, right? I developed, right, that little sixth sense that I'm talking about, and grab another story from my quiver. Grab another story, grab another arrow from my quiver and launch that story out there that I think fits who I saw was also in the room. I was like, man, I didn't realize it'd be this many of this kinds of demographic, right? This kind of psychographic, this kind of belief patterns. I didn't realize, I wish I would have known that before. You know what I mean? Your ability to adapt on the fly like that will very much depend on how much you've been publishing, how much you've been practicing telling the story. So the first option I had was, hey, that's fine. You didn't resonate with my message. That's cool. And I think a lot of when I automate the webinar, that will be my reasoning. Hey, look, you didn't resonate. That's fine. But I have a second option, which is the benefit of doing live webinars, which is the benefit of selling live, is you get to feel that sixth sense and you get to go out and you get to say, hey, look, let me launch this other story. Let me grab another arrow from my quiver and shoot it out there and go, is that going to stick? And it did. And I was able to grab a huge other portion of the room and it resonated with them. Does that make sense? And I know I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is all very, very connected. Your ability to tell story, do it repeatedly, have a lot of stories in your quiver, and be able to sense when to grab. They're like weapons, guys. You grab another story, boom, and you launch it out there. You grab a different story, boom, you launch it out there. You're like, oh man, that one didn't hit. Boom, oh, that one hit. I can tell. I'm reading their body language. They're jumping all over the place. They're clapping, they're screaming, whatever. You can, the equivalence of that online during a webinar or whatever. Right? And if you're not getting a lot of that kind of feedback when you're selling your product, it might be very well possible that they're not feeling that, right? So you have two options. Number one is say, that's fine, and you just keep finding people who resonate with your current message. Number two, launch a second story, poof, and shoot it out there. Launch a second story, see if it sticks. You're like, oh, that one didn't stick. Boom, and you launch another one, you launch another one, you launch another one. And your ability to do it quickly will very much affect how well the rest of your funnel performs. Anyway, does that make sense? That's kind of a long roundabout way of saying all this, guys, but I hope that makes sense what I'm saying here. This was a pretty powerful thing for me to go through. I've done it on very micro scales where there's, maybe up to 60 people in a room. I've done that many times where I can sense it. I can feel it in the room, be like, they're not getting it. Or, you know what, let's come up with a brand new analogy on the fly. Or, you know what, let's use one of their businesses. Let me weave story in between there to help break and rebuild beliefs there. Your ability to tell story is marketing, and it is selling, right? Is marketing, not selling. It's face to face. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I want you to the takeaway from this episode. I know I feel like I've been all over the place a little bit with these last few episodes, but I'm trying to distill down the things that I'm noticing. It's like, I think we all have the bricks. What I'm trying to do is help you fill in the mortar. You know what I mean? The glue between them, and figure out how to do those stuff. So anyways, I'm trying to help you understand that the takeaway from this is you have got to write out storylines of what's happening inside your life. You've got to. And if you've got the gumption, which I hope that if you don't have it, learn it, just start publishing. Start publishing those storylines. And as you do it, I don't know, somewhere on episode, around 30-ish, I started finding my voice. And then something else happened around episode 90. And I don't know, I've heard from a lot of you guys, you felt it as well. There was this extra amount of, glaze that my voice gained as I published. And it's like this extra sizzle. And I think it was part of that sixth sense that started coming in, right? And as I would start to say stuff, it was almost like I would hear the audience reply with something with the false belief that they were hearing. Yeah, they were giving up as an excuse, and I'd have a chance to react back and forth, boom, 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 back and forth, as if you were in the room with me as while I'm doing these podcasts. Does that make sense? I hope that you're understanding what I'm saying here with this. This is super, super, super powerful. And I know I pound story. I tell you guys, get good at story, but the applications for it are all over the place. It's not just in publishing, not just in selling, but the ability to adapt on the fly, the ability to get new markets in. When Russell tells the story about, hey, I couldn't figure out how to sell ClickFunnels for a while, right? He had to change the story. That's like the major thing. When he changed the story and the offer, right? And he's tweaking it back and forth, boom, boom, back and forth, which offer matches the story that I'm telling, that matches the person that's hearing it, right? It's really this 3-part series, right? Who's hearing it? What's the story that they're hearing? You got to craft that, right? And then what's the offer? And when you match those 3 together, that's where the magic happens. And what I was feeling on the stage was the person who was in the room was not the person I was anticipating. Crap, my story's not right, which means my offer, even though I wasn't actually like pitching, I was certainly selling though, right? I was still rebuilding the way they saw the world, right? Wasn't correct. And there was a mismatch. I felt the mismatch. It was like this 3-part mismatch. I got to come up with another way to say that. Okay, it's message to market match, yeah, but like there's something. It's deeper than that. And it was the thing I started noticing and feeling and sensing. And I hope that you understand what I'm dropping out there with this. And start feeling that. Start asking yourself, okay, who am I actually doing the selling to, right? What's the story I'm using to gain their attention and break and rebuild their beliefs? And then number 3, what's the offer? And where do I feel like that weak spot is? And if you don't know what the weak spot is, you are not pitching frequently enough, okay? I'm telling you, around episode 85, 90-ish, okay? That was a long time. Like, that's when I started feeling it. You have got to have frequency with this thing, okay? Frequency is far more important than in my opinion, than perfection in every single thing you say. I say too many ums, I say too many ahs, whatever, okay? I'm practicing storytelling. I'm practicing different, anyway. Hopefully it's been helpful to you guys. Start thinking through who the heck, and you know what? You might actually have an amazing offer. And my gut's feeling is that you probably do. You probably know that it is amazing. And if you don't know that, get there, okay? Oh, it's amazing. It's so cool. It's the best thing on the planet. I know I can defend it to death. You know what I mean? If you got that, boom, okay, done. Like, my offer's there. I know there's a few more things I'm going to toss in there just to make it extra sexy in terms of my fast action bonus, but the offer, done. Okay, so next piece, message. Okay, what are my stories? And my stories are set. My stories are freaking awesome. I know they're great. I feel it, okay? Then what's the next thing, though? It's who's hearing it. And I think I'm speaking to about half of the people that I'm supposed to. I think the other half that are coming in, they're not going to resonate with my stories. So number 1, whatever. Or number 2, fire a different story. And that's the next piece I'm trying to figure out when it comes to my webinar funnel. That was a very long message, and hopefully it made sense, and hopefully you can see how it applies to what it is that you're doing. And think of it in these 3 stages. And as I've done that, it's simplified the entire process for me. And it's all very much interconnected. It's very much, and you will not do it without mat time. You know what I mean? You will not do it without podcasting. You will not, or whatever it is, publishing in general. You will not develop that kind of sixth sense without actively seeking to, you know, and it'll just kind of happen one day. You'll be like, oh crap, like I felt that was weird, you know, and it's kind of cool when it happens though. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. I developed a whole bunch of other cool outros, and maybe I'll talk about that in the next episode coming up, and why I did that. But anyways, guys, thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Got a question you want answered live on the show? Head over to salesfunnelradio.com and ask your question now.